Hey y'all, I'm Brooke Hoover, a Louisiana native, actor, writer, and comedian. I've lost 100 pounds through diet and exercise, or shall I say, lifestyle changes. My 20-year and counting health journey has taught me that just like taking a diet pill for weight loss, body positivity doesn't magically happen overnight. I'm working on regaining my self-esteem and rekindling my love affair with Cajun and Southern comfort food in a healthier way, all the while juggling eating as clean as I can, reestablishing myself in the entertainment industry, which, as we know, is historically fat-phobic, all the while showing my inner fat girl some love. That's fat with a PH. Pretty hot and tempting. Let me tell y'all a tale or two. It was the best of times. It was the worst of times. Swimsuit season, that is. Yes, good old swimsuit season, y'all, because I love to swim, but I, of course, always had so many body positive issues that swimsuit season and wearing a swimsuit was like bearing my soul and my rolls of fat and my rolls of shame. And then I started getting boobs and it was utterly, utterly horrible and terrifying. But I did not always have body issues because I wasn't always a chubby pubescent kid. Prior to that, I was this stick skinny little kid who would walk around at like the age of 3 in I did have bikinis. I remember the last time I wore a bikini, I remember it was like red and a little fluffy and it had like Disney characters, like the classic Disney characters on it. And I remember I was doing laundry in it. Yes, I started doing laundry at a very early age, but that didn't last long because, like I said, I started blowing up and the world, society started telling me that I should be ashamed of myself. Yes, you should swim because swimming is good for you and you love to swim, but you better look good in a swimsuit. Even at the age of 8, this is so messed up, y'all. So messed up. But I don't think or I don't feel I'm alone in this. And heck, even if I am alone in this, somebody will relate in some shape or form. So, solution, if you are afraid to show your boobs and your rolls of fat over with a swimsuit, is to wear a t-shirt. Wear a t-shirt. Hey, y'all, I even had favorite t-shirts that like had such a good cotton softness, but a lower cling factor. Like I would set them aside, but then as they started to disintegrate because of the chlorine, I'd freak out because I'd have to find new t-shirts to put into the rotation. There was a lot of trial and error. This was a lot for a 9-year-old to handle. How screwed up is this, you know? Children, we aren't born afraid of or hating or being ashamed of our bodies. You know, somebody or some entity, society, I think it's a group of people, you know, obviously, tell us that along the way. You know, we see that, we observe that throughout time, be it in commercials, with family members, with friends, magazines, at school, church, you know, wherever you're learning it from. And I say church because, you know, a lot of times people who go to church are some of the biggest hypocrites of all. I said it, but people make you feel bad. You know, I just said bad, like I'm a sheep. People make you feel bad. And then you allow yourself to believe it. People make you feel ashamed and you allow yourself to believe it. And you wear a t-shirt and you're like, hey, I'm going swimming. But I told myself that my t-shirt was like my suit of armor. I had to wear it. It would not let people see that I was fat underneath. It would let people not know. It would not let people know that I had boobs underneath, you know, God forbid. But come on, y'all. There are wet t-shirt contests for a reason. Hello, because they bear all. I mean, the t-shirts make it more obvious, you know, when you're emerging from the water, you could see everything, including your fear, even more, right? Because you're wearing the t-shirt because you are afraid of your body. God forbid that you be chubby or overweight or rotund or whatever the word you want to use, and you don't also accept that, because then you're overweight, and you don't have any confidence, and therefore you are a horrible person. I'm saying this kind of all in this sing-songy type of voice because it's BS. That's what messages are out there, or at least that's the messages I'm gathering. But come on, like, it doesn't take a rocket scientist or a Philadelphia lawyer, as my mom likes to say, to know that something is not equating, right? And it's not always something within our own minds. It's something that the world has put out there, especially America, especially Western society. And I am recording this right around the 4th of July for very good reason, because the whole idea of this podcast is about freedom from that BS that society has told you, that you have to look a certain way. You have to be beach body ready. What is that beach body ready anyways? Yes, I love doing the exercises, beach body exercises, but I'm not doing it so I look good on the beach. I'm doing it so I feel good and a little less psychotic in my mind, because exercise is good for your mind and your body. But yes, I'm not doing it to fit into a swimsuit. However, when I was younger, I totally would have drank that Kool-Aid. So here's the deal about t-shirts. After I get out of the pool or the ocean or the lake and I'm swimming with this t-shirt billowing around me like I'm a stingray, but really less of a stingray, I'm more like the person who has betrayed the mafia and I'm being drowned in the East River. I emerge. And I'm bringing extra attention to myself, like I talked about, because it's the red flag of I'm fat and I'm self-conscious. So I start getting the boobs, as we know, that I want to hide with the t-shirt. And then at a time, it's age appropriate to have boobs. So the boobs kind of take away from the fat. So I'm like, okay, I'll start like taking off the t-shirt, showing the boobs, but at the same time, I'm getting what I call the shabbies, or some people call it chub rub, I think, where like your upper thighs rub together. So I've always had really skinny calves, and there was a good amount of time where, I don't know if you could hear that sound. That's my hands doing that because my legs no longer did it. But believe me, my legs rubbed and I would get the shabbies. So see, I don't know why I'm laughing at myself. I mean, who do I think I am? But the shabbies, when you would get out from the water, it would be very obvious that your legs are rubbing together, So the t-shirt wouldn't always cover the shabbies, So I've lost the t-shirt because I'm like, whatever, I'll show my boobs now. And the boobs are covering this, the boobs are kind of more further out than the stomach. So that detracts from that. There's a whole logic to this, y'all. But the shabbies are obvious. So I start kind of walking with my legs spread like I'm a sumo wrestler getting into position, But here's a solution for that. Wear shorts. Specifically, go where it's encouraged to wear shorts while swimming, such as Sliding Rock, North Carolina. You look like a fool. You look like a complete newbie or amateur if you go down Sliding Rock without shorts. You need jeans or something really rough that you can, you don't mind tearing up, because your butt of whatever you're wearing is going to get torn up from that sliding rock eventually. And then I also started taking some of my dad's Patagonia swim trunks with the mesh lining in there and wearing those and just fashioning my whole outfit that way. And every so often I would wear the occasional t-shirt if we were around people where I was ashamed of showing my boobs too. And I don't mean I was flashing them. I was just afraid to be full throttle in a swimsuit with somebody, seeing my boobs, which is crazy because, hello, people born as women with mammary glands, you get boobs, But something that made me feel more confident were tankinis. I loved when tankinis came out in about the 90s. And sometimes I'd even wear tankinis with shorts. And I just felt like I was wearing, kind of like a tighter outfit that I could still do water sports in and not look like a complete tool. That was such a relief. A few times my mama suggested, and I did have a few of like kind of like the swim dresses, but I was like, Mom, I look like an 80-year-old synchronized swimmer, They were actually some of the cutest patterns, but I think those drew the most attention. But y'all, I can't exactly remember when it happened, but I eventually got over my hang-ups with the whole, what do I wear? How do I accessorize, if you will, at the beach or at the pool or at the lake? And I credit it to the Spanish Riviera, because we go there on a trip when I'm about 16 or 17 years old with a school tour group. And I see people on the beach that are nude, topless, wrinkly, saggy, imperfect. Oh my God, they're not perfect, and they don't give a... And you know what? After the initial shock, neither did I. I'm like, they're just people. And they're not perfect, and they're bearing it all, or they're bearing a lot of it, and they're having a good time. That's what I remember the most. Not the wrinkles, not the chub rub, not the boobs, but that they were having a fun time. So after that trip, I started becoming more and more aware of when I was in a swimsuit at the pool or beach or lake with super skinny friends, body perfect in my mind. I would have loved to have been their size. And they're complaining about a tiny little dimple of potential cellulite on their leg or a non-existent roll of fat. And then it was like they'd all complain in our little circle. They'd start complaining one, like a round of a clock, and they'd get to me, like Brooke, at 6 o'clock or wherever, kind of expecting me to also body shame myself. And I'm thinking internally, dudes, I'm already hating myself, hating on myself from the inside. I'm trying to, at the same time, love myself. Do not make me also join in your game of verbal torture and abuse just because that is what is expected of us as the female species. Give me a break. So instead, I started responding, hey, have y'all ever been to Costa del Sol? It's awesome. Because that was the area I went to in the south of Spain, and I would just start kind of talking about these people and hopefully trying to enlighten my friends when I truly wasn't even halfway enlightened, but I was trying. And yeah, y'all, I've lost 100 pounds and I still have a ton of body hangups. If it's not one thing, it's something else. One of my favorite comedians and one of my favorite books favorite comedians is Gilda Radner, and one of my favorite books is by her. It's called It's Always Something. So my point is, it's always something. You're always going to be picking something apart. Like for me, it was the body fat. Then it also became the boobs. Then it became the chub rub or the shabbies. And nowadays it's like, oh, it's like my armpit fat, or it's the way my right flat foot indents into the sand when I walk because I have a bad right flat foot. It's always something if we let it be something. Or can we have freedom from that? Can we have freedom from making it be about finding something bad about yourself to nitpick on? When does that freedom happen where we finally stop finding the bad? And we don't even have to find the good. We don't have to go from like, oh, I hate my shabbies, I hate my chub rub, to being like, I have the most perfect body. But you could at least say, but you know what? These legs got me to the beach today. You know, you could go from one drastic, kind of negative talk to the next slight step up. I'm not talking about being Pollyanna saccharine, So this is my first year to wear a bikini. It's been over 3 decades that I have worn a bikini. And you know what? I still don't look beach body ready in some people's eyes, maybe in general society's eyes, maybe even in Sports Illustrated's eyes. Because if y'all have noticed, when plus size models are on the covers, they look perfect, right? They are, and I appreciate what all the plus size models are doing out there with their missions of showing you don't have to be a size 0. But what the Photoshop does is they still make the plus size models look perfect with their curves. There's still airbrushing and stuff going on all up in there. So I just look like a regular person, but I am proud of how far I've gotten. I am proud that I'm able to swim like a beast. I'm proud that I no longer have to wear a t-shirt because that could make me drown. I'm proud that I no longer have to wear shorts to swim in because that became very challenging to constantly be stealing my dad's Patagonias without him yelling at me. So I ask y'all for this 4th of July, whether you're in the United States of America or not, wherever you are, let's think about freedom in a new sense. Not in a new sense, not freedom in a nuisance, like, oh, you're a nuisance, you're disturbing, you're annoying. Freedom in a new way, I should say. Freedom from those t-shirts. Freedom from the shorts. Freedom from your negative self-talk. So that way you can enjoy everything a swimsuit brings, all the good things, water fun, backyard laying out, rooftop laying out, rolling around on the beach in the sand, wave runners, whatever you're doing in a swimsuit, just freaking enjoy it. Give yourself that liberty. And you know what, y'all? If you are really still worried about showing your bikini body or your beach body or your swimsuit body or whatever the wording is, just remember, there is an 85-year-old woman out there on the Spanish Riviera who is living her best life, cellulite, sagging skin, and all. So don't miss out on that fun. And especially on this day of independence in the U.S. of America, if Congress is going to try to control our bodies, we have to get really good at having control of our own body image and not fit into a ridiculous construct of perfection. Because that, y'all, sure as hell is not freedom. Thanks so much for listening, y'all. It is my hope to inspire, uplift, and entertain you with this Who's Dat Fat Girl podcast. So, if you're hungry for more, you can book me to speak or perform my solo show that inspired this podcast, Fat Girl Costumes, written by yours truly and directed by Brian Lady at your virtual or in-person event. Please visit brookehoover.com/fluffybuttproductions or email me at contactbrookhoover@gmail.com for more info. And let's follow each other on Instagram. I'm at Brooke Hoover, and the O's in my name are not the letter O, they're zeros. Not because I want to be a size 0, but because I guess I'm just so clever with my late 90s Yahoo self. And if you like this podcast, which I really hope you do, please give me a 5-star rating and write a review on Apple Podcasts. And most importantly, share this with your friends, family, and other people you may know who are as fat as we are. That's fat with a PH.